Well, then let's stop yapping and start blasting.
Welcome back to the Tidarium Hangar. This is Mike, and today I want to talk to you about the Magic Square MS-B22 Flying Fast, or their take on a Legend Scale G1S Cliffjumper. I did get this at Shozy. You can get yours there too. I'll have a link down below. So let's get into talking about this guy, which is more or less a repaint of their Bumblebee, so we know what we're going to get. Let's get into this coming up. Let's take a quick look at the box, and it does look pretty good. It looks a little bit different than some of the Magic Square packaging that we get. There's no window box to it or anything like that, but it still looks good. It gets the job done. There it is, and if you see this in the store, I don't know what store you'll see it in, this is how you'll know to pick it up. So here he is out of the packaging. He does come with the instructions. He'll come with a card, which is cool. This giant cannon that's in two pieces that you can connect together. The skis that we can't really do anything with now, so we'll wait until we get to alt mode, and 8 rubber tires. You only need 4, so you've got 4 spare, so a whole spare set of tires. And his gun. There's his little gun. It's really little. So looking at all this, most of this stuff we're going to use in the alt mode, but he can hold his cannon. So let's get this out of the way. We'll put the tires on in the alt mode. We'll put these skis on in the alt mode. Let's just take a look at these guns right now. So here he is holding his cannon, and there is no paint on it. And did I say this is a repaint of the Bumblebee? There's not much paint. It's a recolor, colored plastic. But anyway, there's his cannon. And one more thing is you could put another, there's like another handle down right here. But I think iconically this is like how he would hold his cannon anyway. And then his gun, and if we can get a good look at that, there's a little bit of detail on it, but not a whole lot, and it just gets the job done for a super small gun in this mode. But I think I'm going to pull these off here, and we'll take a good look at his articulation. Okay, so his head does move side to side, and that's it. And the head sculpt it's just a little weird. It's not the best one ever, but it is what it is. We've got the shoulder out to the 90, and then it flips around, pretty much what you would expect. We do have a bicep rotation. We do have a little bit past the 90 right there, and then the hand swivels back and forth, and then for whatever reason on the ball joint, if you really give it an extreme, it can go on the inside if that's something that you would want. Waist back and forth, no ab crunch. You do have 90 in both directions, but for whatever reason it just feels tight. It kind of gets stuck a little bit, but it works okay. You've got thigh swivel right there. You do have the knee to the 90, and you have all the articulation in the foot. Well, just really side to side, not front back. So it's not front back and side to side, but you kind of get what you need out of it, and you can get some range with this guy if you need it. Now, looking at a few other things on this, he does have the blue paint on the windshields all the way around, so they're trying to be Masterpiece. And you know, if you've recently seen the Masterpiece Cliffjumper, I mean, you can compare that to this, and I still think this does a pretty good job. I mean, Takara could go, oh, you know, let's just go ahead and copy these guys. So anyhow, I think this came like this. These pieces right here are actually supposed to slide out and fill out the side, and it showed up like this. Let's fill out the side. So that's actually how it's supposed to look. It has a side leg filler, and it showed up with those compressed in. So I mean, not a big deal. I didn't even notice that when I first got it, but anyhow, looks pretty good. He does have some paint on the grill, but that's not really for the bot mode, and then on the back. So not a whole lot of paint to this guy, and that's where New Age wins. And we're not really into the comparisons, but I don't have a New Age to compare, but this thing does not have paint set like a flat matte. And you know, they could paint it like they paint their Prime. They could paint, they have the ability, but they choose not to. I guess it's to hit a price point or something like that. So speaking of comparisons, let's get into comparisons with a G1 Cliffjumper, and you can kind of see the similarities, and then you can see the differences. Vast improvement in engineering. Looks way more like the character on the screen, but this is kind of where it's at. The original G1's a little bit taller, and I would almost venture to say scale-wise, I think the height of the G1 is a little bit closer to scale in my mind. But it just depends. Scale is in the eye of the beholder, and so let's get these guys next to Prime, kind of see height-wise, how we would look next to good old Prime. And for me, I still feel like they're just a little bit short, but seems like everybody makes them a little bit short. We can also toss in some Magnuses here just to kind of see how that would look. I would have to adjust the camera for all of these dudes because they're so big. Yeah, just coming off of reviewing this Magnus here. So this is the Magic Square Magnus 2.0. This is the McFans Toys right here. This is the McFans Toys Ultra Magnus. This is a KO oversize of the original Magic Square. This is original Magic Square. This is Toy World's Whiskey Jack version of Wheeljack. This is, I think this is New Age. So you got to get New Age. This is New Age, so you can kind of get an idea of how New Age is stacking up next to them, and then Magic Square for scale. All right, so we've got to get to transforming this guy, and so since I just showed that we had to pull this piece here out, we're going to compress it in, because that's part of the next transformation. We need to unfold all of this, fold out the wheel, which doesn't have a tire on it yet. We're going to put tires on it here in a bit. Fold this down into place. There we go. Same thing on the other side. Fold out the wheel and then unfold all this stuff here. Rotate this, make sure that's compressed, and rotate this down so that everything fits. Then we can tab it in. You can see the tab a little bit better from behind. And we've got the legs starting to work. We can rotate the legs like so. Is that right? Do we need to rotate the legs like so? We rotate something else. Anyway, we're going to pull all of this up. As you can see, we have faux chest stuff. We've got to get the head underneath the faux stuff going on there. So that's going to move to the back. And we need to pull these tires out, the wheels out there, starting to take some shape. And there we can see why we rotate the waist. And I should have rotated the waist first. Yeah, there we go. Now it's all going to look about right. Now we're at the point like this where we have kind of the chassis. We've got the chassis working right there. We're gonna have to situate these arms here. So the arms are going to move to the inside like so. And there we go. All right. We have the part of the hood there. All right, so we're going to flip this around, move it to the inside. It's been a while since I've transformed the Bumblebee. And then put the hands downward. There we go. Now we do the flippity flip around. Get that aligned like that. Get this aligned like this. And then tuck it in to, that came on tab. Tuck it into here. And then it's all going to come together like so. Not the most elegant of my execution here. It's just been a while since I've done this guy. Anyway, there he is, more or less. Got to get everything tabbed in, this little back piece there. And we're going to add the tires to it. I guess we'll do one tire on the screen, and then I can do the rest off camera. There is. Yeah, it's a little tedious. I guess they saved, like, you know, a little bit of time, money, and effort to have you put your own tires on. So there it is. I'll get tires on. We'll take a look at this thing. All right, so here he is in his alt mode, and he looks pretty good. This is better looking than their Bumblebee. What I didn't like was the windshield, like, straight up and down, but for some reason with the spoiler on it, it looks a little bit closer to Cliffjumper, in my opinion. Now, it does have some of the paint apps we talked about in the bot mode. It has the blue on the windshields. It has sort of the silver accent up front for the grille. Looking at it with a bit of a closer angle on it on the rear, it does look pretty dang clean in all angles, all sides of it. It looks pretty good. There were a couple of on the other one, on the Bumblebee. I thought the Bumblebee one looked just a little bit odd, and it was usually that windshield, but I don't know, I think this looks pretty good. Let's bring out the ski accessories, and let's see what we can do with that real quick. So we're going to tab the skis into where there's a notch inside the wheel, if we can keep that on camera, and there it goes inside the wheel. It's like you're barely putting it on there. That's crazy. Another one inside the wheel. And the wheels do kind of come out a bit, so you can get a little easier to put it on. And you've got the skis. And they don't show up, like, you can barely tell he's wearing them. He's barely got them on. And so, not a huge deal. We got weapon storage for all of the weapons. So one thing is with this big old cannon, they have this rear one fold out, and I think that if you fold this to the downside and you just have that exposed, there's a little hole right here. You can plug it into that hole, so you can have weapon storage for the giant cannon if you choose. It really doesn't look all that great. You can also store on the other side, you have another hole, and you can store his gun there if you want him like armored Cliffjumper. So I've got an armored Cliffjumper running around. If that's what you want, you can pull this off, put this right here. Either side, there's a hole on either side, so you can put it on either side that you want. You can store the weapon there, if that's what you choose. So getting into some comparisons here he's compared to the G1, and you can see kind of the difference in aesthetics. So it's like they elongated the penny racer there, and that's what we got out of it. But I do kind of think this does look still pretty good. My biggest problem is you can see there's an angle there, and it's almost straight up and down right there on the windshield. So aside from that, I keep pointing out my issues there. Would have been nice if we had a little something going on in the back too. That would have been a nice little homage to the original. And here he is next to some of the new age options that are out there, and it just seems like they scale really well together. This is the first one, the flipper. I don't have any of the new age, and then this is their Brawn, which I don't think Magic Square has made a Brawn yet, but that's how they look in the alt mode. So this is my look at the Magic Square MS-B22 Flying Fast, and it's a good little figure. It gets the job done. Right now you really have the options of, do you buy this one, or do you buy New Age, or do you go buy it's really a big one that the McFans Toys made, and it's an okay one, but in my opinion, that one's way too big. But I think this is a good option, and it's an affordable option. They try to keep the price down. It lacks the finish of New Age, but I like the design better. The head sculpt's better on New Age, but at the end of the day, I look at the overall bot, the overall design. Magic Square still wins for me when it comes to this one. Let me know what you think in the comments below. And I got this at Shozy. You can still get yours there too. I'll have a link down below. Like, subscribe, comment below. Tiberium Hanger out.
Well, then let's stop gabbing and start blasting.
Ironide! The Energon Cubes! Too late, Starscream!
It's never too late.